Just doing a little repair to the Rubicon today. I ripped the drive shaft boot right there. So I gotta unbolt the diff and pull it ahead a little bit and put a new one on. So I got a box of parts over here. There it is right there. There's the number. Got some grease and some clips from another CV boot kit. So I'll probably be changing the oil on it today too. Got another filter. The dual clutch. Also have to get a new cover for the oil dipstick because I lost the one in the water. I'll probably drill out some holes too in the skid plate here because it collects a lot of mud in the back and even right around the disc brake. This might make that a little more open. Gonna check out these bushings too for the high lifter A-arms. Might put a different grease circ in there because that one's pretty hard to get to. So I'll probably look into that. Might adjust the shocks a little bit too. Make the front ones a little stiffer. Maybe adjust the rebound a bit. So when you get going pretty fast, it likes to nosedive a bit. So we'll see how that works. So yeah. Alright, so this is taking a lot more effort than I thought it would. I ended up having to take the shocks off and lifting up the A-arm so I could pull the diff ahead far enough. And I could barely get it far enough ahead. Like even when I pull the axle back, I was able to just slide this new boot on. So yeah, it took a lot more effort than I thought. I had to take a cover off for the sensor. It's right here. Here's the diff mount, some bolts. I ended up taking that cover off too, the floorboard. I just use a ratchet strap going around to kind of pull the diff ahead. So I took the shock off as well, just made the axles a little more level to give me some more length. So yeah, there's the old one. But now I'm guessing I'm just gonna pack full of grease and I guess put it back together. There is that gasket in there, or whatever you want to call that. I did order a new one. But I don't know if I'm gonna put it on. The other one seems okay. And it was pretty tricky getting that thing on, so I might just leave it alone. Just pack full of grease and smash her back together and call it good. So I got the drive shaft boot back on. A little harder than I expected, but it's on there. So I tightened the shocks up a little bit. I moved them down 1/4 inch. And I would just measure this this distance here. So it's at 3/4 inch now. Was it 1/2 inch before? So I'll see if that improves the ride a little bit. Got some more clips, so I replaced some of those. I put on some blue wheel nuts, lug nuts, because I had a whole bunch from another order. Now I'm thinking about, now I'm going to install all of these, which are just more grommets for here. Because I lost some, so I don't have any there. I still have one there. I barely have one there, so I might glue them in or something. We'll see, because that always seems to be a bit of a problem. So now I'm just gonna do that. Probably drill some holes in the skid plate, and but first I'll probably warm up the engine and do an oil change. Get that out of the way. So just finished draining the oil in the ATV. Warmed it up for about 5 minutes. Just let it ran. And I let it sit and drain for about 1/2 an hour. So I got my new filter in. Just about to do that up. I got my torque wrench. Got everything set to 9 foot-pounds. There's the old filter. Got my oil all measured out too. 3.8 liters. So just getting ready to put everything back together. Probably throw a new gasket on the drain plug since I ordered one. Somewhere in there. And yeah. Get some oil in it and take it for test spin and should be good. So I just finished putting the oil in the machine. So it's good to go. Tighten up the filter at 6 foot-pounds and the plug at 18. Put about 4 liters, 3.8 liters of 10W30 in it. So it's looking good. I drilled a hole through my cover pin there and then put a cotter pin in it. So hopefully I never lose that again. And I realized I'll have to take the cover off to check the dipstick, but I'm fine with that. I drilled a bunch of holes in the skid plate to make it drain a little better. So a series of holes there and a series of holes there, a little bit there. Mainly in the back one because it was causing me the most grief. So hopefully that kind of helps out a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna put them back on and check some tire pressures and make sure all the wheels are torqued down. And then the next thing I'm gonna do today is to try and investigate an air bubble that's in the radiator. When it gets really hot, I can see it push an air bubble through this line. It makes it about here, and then that's as far as it gets. So I might just tip it up on its back or nose and try and work the air bubble out of it with a funnel or something like that. All right, so the ATV is back together. New oil, new filter, new drive shaft boot for the front diff. So that's all in. Tightened up the shocks a bit. Seems to be riding better. I was able to work an air bubble out of my catch can system here. So it's a little full right now, but I'm assuming it's gonna level itself out over time. Skid plates back on with the holes drilled in them. So yeah, came back together pretty quickly. Wasn't easy getting the drive shaft boot on, but it just fit. So luckily I was able to get it on. So yeah, now I'm just gonna rip around and enjoy the rest of the night.